to America's National Park of Speed. This is Road America. I'm John Hindhaugh in the Global Broadcast Centre with Shea Adam, our pit and paddock reporter for many years on IMSA and also part of our team for Radio Le Mans. Shea, hello there and welcome. It seems like it's been a long time since we've seen the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup.
Hello, and yes, it has been far too long since we've heard the hum of the MX-5 Global Cup cars out on the racetrack, but they're back and we have a full grid, the championship contenders mostly at the front where you would expect them to be. Couple of new cars, couple of cars switching teams in what was quite a long summer break. The summer break is over, it's time to go racing.
Not quite the full grid that we were expecting, if I'm honest, and we'll take you through that in a moment. We have had qualifying, best time setting, the starting grid, the official Mazda starting grid for this race, second best for the second race later on this weekend. But it wasn't an easy run for some of our competitors as we're rolling on the formation lap. Three competitors that I have listed here being Mike Loeb, Jared Thomas and his JTR Motorsports Engineering teammate Peter Atwater not turning times in the qualifying session.
No, correct. And the first thing of note is that JTR has actually doubled in size since the beginning of the season. Jared Thomas and Chris Nunes, who started out the year, joined by Peter Atwater from the last round, and also with Woody Hyman on the team as well. So now they're up to 4 cars. Peter not contesting the race today. He had some business to attend to back in Colorado. He will be in the race tomorrow. Jared with a wheel speed sensor going afoul. People who have worked on cars know how difficult wheel speed sensors can be, and if one goes off, they're all going to have issues. He had slight body damage, but wound up qualifying in 22nd position. He finished the last race first, was later disqualified due to a post-race technical infraction, meaning that his teammate, Chris Nunes, actually inherited his first ever win.
Well, we are behind the Mazda MX-5 safety car. Let's take a look at how they will line up here for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. On pole position, once again, right at the sharp end of the field, the number 87 IMSA Motorsports Mazda of Céline Roland, with Herman Palermo, the slipstream in the number 20 alongside him. On row 2, it's Gresham Wagner for Spark Performance. He's got the number 24, Aaron Janson, for Provision Motorsports right alongside him. Row number 3 on the inside, the number 11 is Andrew Carbonell for Hickson Motorsports. McCumbee Macaleer Racing driver Sam Paley is the second best of the rookies. Second best to Aaron Johnson, just a couple of rows ahead of him. Then it's Chris Nunes, another one of the rookies in the number 32 JTR Motorsports Engineering. Row number 4, that is Michael Carter on the outside of that. Row number 5, Luca Mars in the 41 Copeland Motorsports brightly coloured machine. Another McCumbee Macaleer Racing car in 10th is Jensen Ultimate. Watch for him coming forward. He's been racing very well recently. Just outside the 10 on row number 6, Justin Piscatella in the 89 from McCumbee Macaleer Racing has JTR Motorsports Engineering's driver Woody Hyman right alongside him in the 82. Moishi Aretsky for McCumbee Macaleer Racing is in P13 in the 55. William Starr for Slipstream Performance in the 36 alongside him. 15th long Unser for Hickson Motorsports with Alex Batura for Slipstream in the 33. Then it's Jean Jourdain for McCumbee Macaleer, Daniel Williams, Savannah Little, Brian Hickson, and then the 3 that didn't get the times in, Mike Loeb, Jared Thomas, Peter Atwater, all explained earlier on by Shea Adam. Road America, 4.048 miles around, the longest circuit for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. Up the long run from the final corner, turn 14, climbing the hill. We're going to have another slipstream battle. I will absolutely guarantee it. Watch out for the long straights and the draft. These open top cars leave a big hole in the air. And from pole position, Celine Roland gets the green flag and moves away nicely in the 87, the multicoloured car, to the inside. Driver's right going down into the first corner and dragging through the inside lane. Also going through Gresham Wagner and Andrew Carbonell, and they'll be the top three as they go under the Arians Bridge and down towards turn number 3 for the first time. That inside lane has gone very well indeed. Chris Neves as well coming through in GTR engineering colours, the red and white car in 4th position ahead of Hernan Palermo for Slipstream. So the outside pole sitter only just, Shea Adam, hanging on to the top 6. Brilliant start from the pole sitter who dragged that inside road right the way along with them as they head down to turn 5.
It was, and I'm surprised at Hernan Palermo start because he's somebody who's always gone well here at Road America. So for him to drop back from 2nd to what, about to be 7th on half of the first lap, that's a big shock to me. But Roland has an advantage. He is the only driver in the field who has won here at Road America in this series before. And he's been a little busy in this off time. He just got his commercial pilot's license last week. The guy who was so happy to win at St. Petersburg because he often flies in the air. Well, there's an airport not too far away from here in Sheboygan. And if he wins again here, this might become one of Roland's destinations.
Yeah, not too far. You're absolutely right. 45 minutes was on the clock to start with. We're going to have to keep an eye to the heavens as well. The Cubs and White Sox game, I noticed, was struggling to get underway down the road a wee bit down at Chicago, but there have been 1 or 2 pop-up storms in the area. We do race in the rain here. They've started on their BF Goodrich tyres, which are dry weather racing tyres. They do have wet weather tyres available to them. And to answer anybody's question, if you're going forward, you don't get wet, even with no roof on. And that's exactly the same as in the street car. It's only when you have to stop at a traffic light or to park the car that you start getting wet. The disadvantage we have here is you don't have the option of just reaching behind you and pulling the roof up, which on a street MX-5 is so easy. You can do it one-handed, and you don't need an electric motor because you can do it quicker yourself. So it will get a little bit hairy if it starts to rain, and it looks like there might be 1 or 2 drops of rain as they come across the line this time around. Celine Roland then leads, number 5 going through in 2nd. Gresham Wagner for Spark Performance, he tries to the outside. Hernan Palermo in the bright yellow number 20 car, sitting in 5th position, trying to make back some of the ground. He lot of 1 or 2 sets of windscreen wipers going on now, as well as they're headed down to turn 1 for the 2nd time of asking. Yes, there's definitely a little bit of spray being thrown up from the leading cars. Not a problem for the new leader though. Gresham Wagner has gone through to the lead. Shea Adam, championship implications there.
Big time. We have had 2 drivers win 3 races apiece so far this season. Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland being 2 of those drivers. Windshield wipers are on Gresham Wagner's car, but we do have problems further back down the field. And Hernan Palermo, I noticed, has an under tray that's flapping below him, so his car as well with a bit of damage early on. Wonder if that affects things. It was Woody Hyman who was off one of the 2 cars just at the exit of turn 3 as they're going 3 abreast coming up to turn 5. This is getting chaotic.
Underneath the Corvette bridge, trying to go around the outside and reclaim the lead. The pole sitter, Celine Roland, but is unable to get that one done. They're still sitting side by side as they go through the very quick turn number 6, dropping down the hill through the kink. Murray Downs and Palermo right back with them now. This is a really good drive back by the man who started on the outside of the front row and was completely mugged by the inside lane. First 4 of the inside lane rows went through. A little bit of oversteer. The back end of that number 20 car just beginning to get a little lively, going through the first part of the carousel as they head down to the kink. Let's have a listen. I think they're flat through there. I really think they're flat through there. Didn't hear a pop or a crackle or a lift from any of the leaders there. And back to the front of the field. Celine Roland is back in charge of this race. Canada corner with 40 minutes to go. And now the top 10 or so coming back together. 2 black cars running together. That's Jensen Ultimate, excuse me. Jason is his dad, Jensen Ultimate from McCumbee McAleer right in there ahead of Moishe Uretsky, who's the second of those black cars, the number 55. 28 in there as well. Sam Pearley, that's another McCumbee McAleer racing car. So those guys are working their way through the field very nicely indeed. Over the top of the rise. New fastest lap for Hernan Palermo to get back to the two leaders there. 2 minutes 38.6. And that is important, Chase. We're watching the battle for the lead going down into turn 1 for the moment. Oh, what a big mistake! Come back to that. I think it's getting wetter at turn 1 because first and second, Roland and Wagner both went wide, and Palermo in the yellow and black. Slipstream Performance car has gone back to the lead. He now leads. He's also got the fastest lap, and that means points in this championship. As we've had a spinner further back down the field. That's the Slipstream Performance number 20, Mike Globe, in the gold car. But really, was it a mistake or was it just a lack of grip? It was a lack of grip. Huge rear end slide by the then leader Celine Roland for Hickson. Actually a masterful save. He's dropped down to third. He will now have to fight against number 5 and Gresham Wagner. He's still in second, but he's got a different car ahead of him now, that being the bright yellow Slipstream car of Hernan Palermo. Sorry, I was about to talk, Shea, about points and the additional points that you get apart from your position finishes.
All good. You do get bonus points for leading the most laps in a race and for taking the fastest lap, as well as 10 bonus points for the best qualifying position. Full course yellow now, as Mike Globe has not yet moved from that turn 1 incident, I believe. He might be moving again. Actually, the timing is just a little bit wonky. But yeah, the yellows are out, which is appropriate because we're talking about the yellow car in the lead of this race. Hernan Palermo is not in the top 16 as far as points are concerned. And of course, the yellows come out. Mike Globe manages to find that gear to get the car moving again, but it should be a quick yellow. Hernan has not actually finished within the top 5 positions so far this year. His best finish was 10th at Mid-Ohio. But he has gotten bonus points before in that second race at Mid-Ohio. So he knows how to be fast, and this is the track where Hernan Palermo is the biggest threat on the calendar. This is the one where clearly he feels most comfortable, so it's going to be tough work for Gresham Wagner. Points in second right now after the last round. He's 40 points behind Michael Carter, the 08. Michael Carter currently down in 7th position. That stands for a championship shakeup, even if Gresham Wagner finishes second.
Yeah, uncharacteristically quiet qualifying and first part of the race for Carter Racing Enterprises 08, sitting in 7th position. We are under full course yellow at Road America. America's national part of Spain, playing host this weekend to 2 Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup races presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. It's Shea Adam and John Hindhoff in the Global Broadcast Centre here as we are live in sound and vision on IMSA TV, also at IMSARadio.com. We've got the pictures there as well. And the MX-5 safety car is rolling. As Shea said, I think this is just going to be a very quick yellow because Mike Globe did manage to find a forward gear on that racing gearbox. Proper racing cars, these might look like you could go down to your Mazda dealer and buy one off the floor. Well, of course, you could buy the road car, but these cars come in from Japan and into Florida. And the brothers Fliss work their magic on them. Stripping them back pretty much to the bare shell, and I think probably the only thing that isn't modified or tuned is the engine. That is your straight stock 2-litre 4-cylinder inline normally aspirated Mazda MX-5 engine, 180 horsepower, and that's quite enough, thank you very much, to propel these quite light open top roadsters. But everything else, Multimatic suspension on there. You've got the racing sequential gearbox and SADM box. You've got the racing differential, and of course all the safety equipment as well, with door bars on both sides. Always handy if you want to take one of your sponsors out for a track day. Fire suppression systems, etc. More than 250 racing parts then it goes to the paint shop, and you can have it any colour you want as long as it's white. That's the standard colour when it comes out. Thankfully nowadays, people are very, very very good and creative with vinyl.
Yes, and you know, even such, when you get the car and it is in that beautiful white, a blank canvas, if you will, it still makes for the best value in racing, because $80,000 gets you a car and 2 races per weekend that are broadcast for everybody for free. It's a phenomenal value, and by the way, it's a lot of fun. You get to go out and race MX-5 Cup cars against other people and show your skills.
We don't often talk about money in motor racing because it's often seen to be a bit crass to do so.
Yeah.
But as the safety car lights are out and we're about to go green, the other side of this, the buying and the running of the car is extremely good value. I'll never say anything's cheap in motor racing because it isn't, and we know that it's a significant investment in both money and time. But the rewards here, Shea, have meant there's a lot of people who, instead of perhaps as we might have done in years gone by in championships such as this, instead of using it as a stepping stone to something else, they're making a career and what's more, making money out of being in this championship, particularly if you're at the sharp end of the championship come the end of the season.
Yeah, let me just throw some numbers out for you. $250,000 worth of the scholarship for winning the championship overall. It pays all the way down to 10th place in the championship. $80,000 for the Rookie of the Year. There's a $75,000 scholarship for women in motorsport to try and promote that initiative. And grassroots racing is very important to Mazda. They give $110,000 worth of the scholarship to the best grassroots racer every year. Mazda creates great racing drivers.
So a quick yellow was predicted by Shea Adam. A quick yellow is what we have had. So Hernan Palermo, who started on the outside of the front row in the bright yellow number 20, is leading them through to start another lap. This is time sensitive, a bit of bump drafting on the front straight. It's that long front straight. Tony's throwing the green flag with some gusto there. The spots of rain seem to have dissipated for the moment down into turn 1. The red, white, and black car, Gresham Wagner for Spark Performance, having a look down the inside. That wasn't a proper look, and in fact he's cost himself some time, and amazingly and very quickly taken advantage of by Celine Roland and Andrew Carbonell and the black Hickson Motorsport cars. And the two Hickson cars trying to make an advantage this, drafting each other under the Sargento Cheese Bridge down the, well, I was going to say the straight, but it's actually a little kink at turn 4, and then they head over the brow to the tricky downhill braking area at turn 5, and Gresham Wagner has indeed lost 1 place. He may lose a couple more. He's down the inside now, though, into the newly resurfaced turn number 5. Both of the leaders go wide, and now we've got 2 sets of 2 wide, 2 deep, going under the bridge at turn 5, and they all managed to get through. A little bit of rally crossing for those on the right-hand side of the circuit, and round the outside and into the lead. There goes Gresham Wagner. Fantastic manoeuvre, absolutely glorious, and exactly what we expect from Mazda MX-5 Racing. Meantime, behind there, Sam Paley in the black, number 28, is the best of the rookies, and he's just made up a position on Andrew Carbonell in the number 11 car. That was a very good move as well. So those 2 black cars, not teammates. Macumbi Makalia Racing leads. Hickson Motorsports, 28 from 11. Leader in the red, coming to the kink. Just over half an hour, 31 minutes still to go in the sunshine for the moment at Road America. What a great race. We've been treated here, have we not, to some phenomenal close finishes and brilliant racing as they go 3 wide, or at least think about it into Canada corner. Think better of it though. But now, rather than just having 2 or 3 cars, we've got, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I reckon, right the way down to Luca Mars and Portland Motorsports, all right in the mix there.
Yeah, and I was just checking on Jared Thomas.
Looks like somebody might have gone off or blown up. Is there a...
That's Jared Thomas, no!
Jared Thomas, you mentioned... Yeah, you mentioned him, and the moment you mentioned him, now is that bodywork on a tyre, or is that something worse? I think that looks like oil smoke. Either that, or he's auditioning to replace Daniel Craig in the Bond movies after the next one comes out. And I'm afraid the silver number 96 car for JTR Motorsports has dropped to the back. He's out of the car and looks towards the back of the car. The unmistakable smell of engine oil is what is greeting him there. Meantime, 9 cars now at the front of the field, down to Aaron Johnson in the Soul Red Crystal car, so it is the top 9 now. Then there is a little bit of a gap back to Luca Mars, who I think might have been caught up in that smoke screen further back, but the top 9 are down in turn 5, led by Slipstream Performance. It's the yellow and black car. What a way to get our race action underway this weekend. IMSA at Road America. We've got the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship coming up straight after this.
Noticing, John, those black cars that we mentioned, Jensen Altman, who, by the way, has a new sponsor for this week, Sport Trek RV, which is a motorhome dealership out of Arizona and California. He's making a good effort to stick with this leading group, but the other black car is the one that I'm really interested in. Andrew Carbonell, car number 11. He's joining Hickson Motorsport this weekend as a driver. Normally, he is coach for the team. And why is that important? Because the car right in front of him now, Celine Roland, is his teammate. And teammates work very well together at Road America to get to the front. Watch those two, because they won't be back in 5th and 6th for long.
There used to be a saying here, no tour, no front row in qualifying, and possibly that could count for the race, but of course when you get into the money laps at the end, or the money minutes as it is here with bang on 28 still to go, then it is every driver for themselves. 3 black cars in that top running set of machinery, top 8, and it's still a bright yellow one. That's the easy one to spot as they head up the rise once more. Now, how hard are the guys behind trying? I know you're thinking that yourself, but here's the pass round the outside, the long way round, and a little bit of bump drafting as well to get not 1 but 2 past Hernan Palermo. Down the inside, here comes the number 28 to Sam Pearley. Gresham Wagner with the fastest lap last time around. Carbonell follows the black car of Pearley through. So the 2 black cars now 3rd and 4th, and Hernan Palermo, who led across the line, all of a sudden down in 6th, could be 7th. And that flapping under tray, there's clearly been a little bit of frontal contact on that number 20, the yellow car, which has just gone wide and turned number 3 and onto the grass for Hernan Palermo. And that is flapping more, and there's also a bit of trim just above the radiator air intake at the front of that car, and he's lost the draft. Now that's like losing the peloton in cycle road racing, and that's going to be hard for him to get back. We've seen the team sprints and the team pursuits at the Olympics, haven't we? And if you don't stay right on the back of the guys in front, you're going to struggle, and Palermo is now dropping away. Do you know what? Motorsport at the Olympics, Mazda MX-5 would be absolutely gold medal stuff, wouldn't it?
Yes, please. Could we have some of that?
Yeah.
Sam Paley also, by the way, somebody looking for a gold medal. He's got the silver medal 3 times in 8 races so far this year. He's looking really good and super competitive. But you asked why these guys would be pushing so hard to get to the lead. The 10 bonus points. Gresham Wagner knows that he needs it to try and catch up to Michael Carter. Celine Roland does not want to let the guy that he's chasing in the championship, i.e. Gresham Wagner, to get those 10 points. He wants them for himself.
Still not even at half distance. We've still got a lap to go before we get somewhere near halfway through. We've had a brief yellow flag period. And back to racing now. I was about to say things settling down a wee bit at the front, but that is the worst thing to say. Palermo's definitely dropping away in 7th position, and He's going to have to keep his eyes peeled. 8th position now, as he's dropped even further back. And again, book drafting over the line. This time it's Andrew Carbonell who takes the fastest lap, and here comes the black train of cars down the inside. They've gone in behind Roland, and Roland's gone to the lead at turn 1. Now, Wagner, oh, track limits on the exit. You've got to keep 2 BF Goodrich tyres on the curbing there, which is marked by the stripes. Beyond that, on the black asphalt, is out of bounds. And turn 1 is one of the places that race control will be watching. As they went across the line, Wagner was leading, but now it's Roland that leads. Roland leading from the first of the black cars in second, which I think is Sam Paley. Yes, it is. It's Paley who goes to the left-hand side, and he brings Wagner with him down into turn 5. This is every single lap, right at the back of that group, going wide. The dark red, it's called Soul Crystal Metallic, fantastic colour. Actually has a layer of aluminium flex before the top coat is put on. It looks great in any Mazda road car. That just sitting in the back at the moment. It's Aaron Janson. Vision Motorsports, and he's in 8th position. So Palermo now dropped away from that top octet, and he's got trouble with the slipstream performance, number 36 on his tail, and that of course is David Starb, and that's going to be a couple of laps before David in the light blue car starts to catch up with him. Behind David is Luca Mars, then Jean Jourdain, then Wojciech Uretsky, then Hyman, who had that off-track moment, and just not at the Jensen Ultimate has just dropped a little further down now. He's back in 15th after being decently placed earlier on. Clearly to the lead. We might as well just pick a random name, Shay, and say, you know, somebody's just moved up, because it seems to be that at will people can make passes here. Marvellous stuff.
And I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Michael Carter coming up here soon, John, because the championship leader has been stealthing his way up through the pack. He now sits 5th, and he's the first car behind the leading duos pushing their way across the line. So Paley, Roland, Carbonell, Wagner. If Carbonell and Roland get matched up together, they could run away from everyone else. But it's now Renan Palermo who steals back the 10 bonus points for fastest lap.
Wow, okay, so he's dropped back, and we thought he had trouble with his car, but now he's found a little bit of pace and has got those 10 points and is gaining on the 8 in front. So whatever was ailing that car, big sideways moment at turn 3. That was Gresham Wagner. Black rear of that car, but red, white on the front. That's the number 5 machine. Right off and rallycross style. BF Goodrich tyres doing a great job of still giving him forward momentum. And here comes Palermo. He really has had a good lap. This battle up front is slowing them down, but he has put the fastest lap in. It really goes back to the lead at turn 5. Now, Shea, as everybody takes innovative and creative lines at turn 5, Palermo's now back up into 8th position. As soon as I throw to you, something will happen, but I want to make the point here, Shea, about who is in the championship points in these top positions and who isn't. Celine Roland, who is back in front now, certainly is in the championship points, and Sam Paley is scrapping for the rookie championship.
Yeah, and just to put this into context really clearly, the gaps are going to sound massive. They're not. They change really quickly. We've got Michael Carter leading the way, 2,450 points. Wagner is 40 points behind him, and Roland is 250 points off the lead. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Chris Nunes, who's leading the championship for the rookie hunt. Right behind him, Sam Paley. So those two very closely embedded in this rookie hunt for the championship. But right now, all that Sam Paley is thinking is win, I can do this, because the last time out, Chris Nunes took his first win. Rookies can win in this championship. We've seen it done. Paley's got 3 trophies from the year, but they're all silver, none in gold.
Massive manoeuvre down the inside at Canada corner. Couple of corners back for Hernan Palermo, who's made up another position. I reckon he's up into 7th now. Oh, and that's Palermo going off at the final corner, turn 14. Well, take that back, he's back down to 9th again. All that hard work, and he's managed to make a mistake at the final corner. He'll be kicking himself. I know. Down now towards 18 minutes to go, and Celine Roland finally tries to make a little bit of a break. Now the black car in second is no longer Sam Paley, it's Andrew Carbonell in second position, up into third, back up into third, the 0-5. That's the 0-8. That is Michael Carter. That's the championship leader. We said he'd had a quiet qualifying. He stealthed his way up into third. That's huge for him. And this would be a good result from where he started, Jay.
That would be massive. You talk about clawing back the points, and everyone counts. The most important thing is that he's ahead of Gresham Wagner, even though Celine Roland is still leading the way. A 250-point buffer is good enough for first to third for Carter to hang on to the championship lead. I've just gotten reports, by the way, that John Joe Duane pulled off in turn 5. There were reports of smoke coming out of his car, so he's taking the backdoor entrance to the paddock. We should be staying green for this one, so very heads-up driving from the incumbent McLaren Racing driver.
Shea Adam, along with me, John Hindorf, as we are once again being royally entertained by the Innovative Mazda MX-5 Cup Race 1 here at Road America, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. That top 9 that we had has gradually been whittled down, and now there's just half a dozen. Roland led across the line from Carbonell in second, and then Michael Carter. Sam Paley's the second of the black cars, the red, white and black car is Gresham Wagner in the 5, and Chris Noons, the second of the rookies in that top 6 in the red and white car at the back of that leading sextet at the moment. Wagner pulls out the line. Oh, is he slowing, or is he trying to get a bit of a tow from ahead? No, he was trying to get the tow from up ahead, down into turn 5 again. Sunshine out, 1 or 2 spots of rain earlier on that had the windshield wipers on for these cars, but now it's perfect conditions. Turn 6 under the Corvette bridge. Roland hasn't been able to make the break. Lots of, absolutely on the ragged edge of adhesion, every single one of them. They're torturing the BF Goodrich tyres, and I don't think I've seen so many of the leaders here going off the side of the circuit before, but that's just testament to how hard they are all pushing.
It really is. Everyone wants a race win in this series because it is so valuable to get up in that top 10 of the championship. Like we talked about, it pays. We've got some track limits starting to come into play, though, John. It was a warning for Aaron Johnson a few moments ago, and now Hernan Palermo getting noticed by race control as well.
Palermo has dropped down to 9th again and is now 9 seconds off the lead. He's only now half a second ahead of the blue number 36 of David Starks. That's the two slipstream cars. I think they've worked together. We've got about a second and a half on Luca Mars for Copeland Motorsport, and then Jensen Altman back up into 12th. Remember, he dropped down as far as 15th, so it's another good drive for young Altman. But the leaders are well up the road. Top 6 separated by just on 1 second. And it might even be less than that as the aerodynamic effect of 4 or 5 MX-5s ahead of you punching a hole in the air. The guys at the back get almost a video game speed-up effect down the long start-finish straight. And here comes Chris Noons at the back. He pulls out to get a good look at the corner, but he made up 3 or 4 cars lengths there on Gresham Wagner ahead of him, and they're all back together again through turn 1. And again, the back 2 just running wide at turn 1, down the hill. Get your braking right for turn 3. Very late turn in there. You always feel like you might have run too far. Looks like Noons did a little bit. Again, digging a little bit of a hole on the far side of the curb, the left-hand side of the curb with the BF Goodrich tyres on the left-hand side of that MX-5. Under 14 minutes to go. MX-5, Idemitsu, Cup race, race 1 at Road America. Top 6 at turn 5. No quarter being asked or given. Such concentration. And Starks caught Palermo for 9th position, the blue car with the yellow wheels, right in behind the yellow and black car. I do think Palermo is struggling with a car that's not great after whatever it was that caused that under tray and part of the front end of that car to start wobbling around. Down into turn 8, 2 black cars side by side. They are not teammates. Carbonell will have the inside and the number 11 into the carousel, and he holds on to it for a split second there. Sam Paley was right around the outside, but that's not doable at the carousel. And that little scrap has just allowed the leader to break away. And when I say break away, I'm talking fractions of a second, maybe a half a second, if that, as they go down the Canada corner. 2 black cars side by side again. Carbonell from Paley. Then the championship leader, the 08, Michael Carter. Well, as it stands at the moment, what do you think of? What are you thinking of now? If you're Celine Roland, if you're Michael Carter, you are 2 of the top men in the championship. Surely it would be good to win, but you cannot afford a DNF here, shit.
If you're Celine Roland, you're thinking, man, I love Andrew Carbonell. I need to buy that guy another beer. And I'm so grateful that he's my teammate and tail gunner, because as long as Celine has Carbonell behind him, he's going to be breathing a little bit easier. If Paley gets up alongside Carbonell and makes the pass into turn 1, well, then the dynamic changes. But you mentioned Roland breaking away a little bit. He doesn't really want to break away from Carbonell.
No.
He'd be happy to take Carbonell and break away.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done. They are both Hickson Motorsport cars. The Autism Speaks jigsaw pattern on that leading 87 car. Well, the black car in behind is his teammate, and that's what Shea's talking about. The second of the black cars is not. That's a McCumbee McAleer Racing Cars racing team. So they are, I think, working as a team. Down into turn 5. Surprised we haven't seen more passing there in turn 5. It's a downhill braking area, but just showing to me how quick these MX-5s are going through their shit, that there's not actually all that much braking. There is some braking, but clearly not enough to be able to make the inside move work. We've seen a couple of people try it, and you tend to end up being side by side all the way up through 6 and into 7, which is that really quick right-hander, and then the but the fight is still very much on at the front of the field. And again, the leading pair have just got away a little bit. This time it is the two Hickson cars, but a great turn 3 for Sam Paley. He's bringing Michael Carter with him from McCumbee McAleer Racing and Carter Racing Enterprises. Any one of these top 6 could win. It could be none of these top 6 the way they're driving at the moment, Shane.
Very much so. Cast your mind back to the first race of the season at Daytona when the guy who led the most laps wound up finishing, what was it, 7th? And he had been leading out of the final turn. So it's one of those tracks as well, where just because you're leading at the exit of 14 doesn't mean you're going to cross the finish line first. I love the fact that we get to see Celine Roland's helmet, bright yellow, staring up into his rearview mirror frequently, checking to see which black car it is behind him. And Sam Paley sometimes, but most of the time, being Carbonell, as Michael Carter now looking a bit more aggressive and a bit more racy. He seems to understand that Roland is going to get the point for leading the 10 points for leading the most laps of this race, but there are still a lot more points on offer for winning the race, and Carter feels that he can get those. Oh, but Wagner's right behind him now. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, this is all getting a bit messy, isn't it? Coming down to 7.5 minutes to go. Paley thought about having a look to the right-hand side going into the kink and wisely thought better of it. Now the two teammates locked together, coming down to Canada corner. Little dab on the brakes just to make sure that the pads are in contact with the disc, with the rotor. Run across the curbs a lot here, and you get what the drivers call pad knock-off. It just rattles the friction pads away from the disc, away from the rotor. So you just give it with your left foot, probably just a little bit of a tap, just to bring it back into contact, because when you really need those brakes at Canada corner, man, you really need them, and you don't want the pedal to go further down than you were expecting. These 6 are still absolutely as one. 24 wheels of Mazda MX-5 Racing. Under 7 minutes to go at Road America. Hickson 1 and 2, McCumbee Racing 3, Carter Racing Enterprises 4, Spark Performance 5, JTR in 6th position. And even as I say that, here comes Chris Noons, side by side with Michael Carter. He's got 2 wheels on the grass. Noons goes through, Carter goes wide, and Noons goes up into 5th position. And he got such a good run through turn number 1. He actually had to brake on the exit of turn 1, so he did run in to Gresham Wagner ahead of him. 2 groups of 3 now, but this will come back together, I'm sure of it. Under the bridge, the Sargento Bridge, such a feature here down through the years at Road America. Shea Adam, John Hindorf, and the Mazda MX-5 Cup. The Idemitsu Series has been an absolute barnstormer this year, and it shows, well, it shows no, appears that it is going to be no different today.
Watch right now, John, that 32 machine from JTR Motorsport. We saw the Jared Thomas of the JTR Motorsport car come to an end of the race fairly early on. But Noons, last lap was the fastest car on track, and it was his personal best lap. He saved a little bit of his BF Goodrich tires. He's going to make a charge at the end of this one, and he's just under 2 seconds off that lead duo. He can do it.
Side by side, Paley. This time got to the inside at the carousel, and this time he will push his black Mazda from McCumbee McAleer Racing into 2nd place. He's got Gresham Wagner, who has the fastest lap of the race, and the 10 points that go with it at the moment, trying to follow him through, will follow him through. So the 3 cars with black on them, the 2 black cars and the red, white and black rear end car of Gresham Wagner absolutely together down the inside. Wagner having a look, still battling with Carbonell. That's now taking 1/3 of a lap. That battle is absolutely fully lit, but it's brilliant news for Celine Roland. His wingman's done his job, stayed there as long as he could, has now lost a bit of ground. But as they come through this time with just on 4 minutes to go, it's going to be around about 2.5 seconds between Celine Roland for for Hickson Motorsports as he goes across the line now to complete another lap. And, well, I can't count. It was a second and a half. I thought it was a wee bit more than that, if I'm honest. Second place, Paley. No. Going back through into second is the number 11. That's his teammate back there again, Andrew Carbonell. Very tight indeed between these cars, and this is exactly what we've come to expect. One car ahead, 5 battling for 2 spaces on the podium. Lap times around about the mid-230s, so that, I reckon, means we'll have this one and a couple more. Down into turn 5. Well, the guys were obviously listening to me. Gresham Wagner did have a go through into the brake area, turn 5, and that's netted him second position. Roland, Wagner, Carbonell in the first of the all-black cars. Then Sam Paley's the first of the rookies, the 08. The red top, white middle and black bottom car. That's championship leader coming into this weekend, Michael Carter. And then behind them, Chris Nunes. He's the leader in the rookie championship. We've got all the big guns right at the sharp end of the field. Shea, Adam.
And then we've got Andrew Carbonell, who's back out racing for the first time in a long time, and too long for the Miami-based driver's taste. Having the time of his life, getting to chuck an MX-5 Cup car around the track again and try and help his team to win a championship as well, as they are looking for that driver's championship with Celine Roland. This is getting fun at this point of the race with 6 cars up at the front. Any one of those 6 could bring home the checkered flag. Right now, Celine Roland is thinking, how much can I back off of the pace to try and make this race not go an extra lap? It's definitely going to be this next one, though.
Yeah, I think he'll get the white flag this time around now. We are under a lap's worth of time left, so it will be white flag this time around. Championship coming to the business end of things here. First of 2 races at Road America, and Celine Roland is pulling out a very handy lead in this race, and that will help them in the championship. The Autism Speaks livery on that car, so much brilliant work being done in the paddock for a number of very worthy causes. That is one of them, and it's leading at the moment. Wagner in second, 1.2 seconds at the line. Sam Paley in third, just 0.070 away from the car in front. That basically means he's pushing him across the line. So Shea, final lap. And these 6 have stayed pretty close together. We did have 9 at one stage. Looks like Roland's done enough for me, but who's going to be second?
Oh, well, don't say that too soon. You might jinx the guy. And if he can hang on to this, it would be the 4th consecutive race weekend where Celine Roland wins race number 1. But I'm not giving him the win just yet. He still has quite a few corners to try and negotiate before he gets that honor. 7 more at this point. Come on, Celine, you can do it. Second place, Gresham Wagner, Sam Paley, Michael Carter all together. I'm going to say Chris Nunes.
Well, that's going to be a heck of a drive. It's going to be Robin Liddell-like, isn't it, if he's going to make that amount of ground? He's just lost touch. So it's 1 car, 3 cars and 1 car at the moment. That's the top 5. The 1 car in the lead is the number 87, Celine Roland. Hickson Motorsports, he's tasted victory already this season. He's up there at the sharp end of the championship, and now with a little bit of bodywork flapping to the right rear of that car, he's heading through the kink for the 16th and final time, as time has elapsed. Now the guys behind have stopped fighting a little bit, and they are pulling closer. It was over a second, now it's half a second, and Wagner is pulling the other 3 cars close. This could yet be the grandstand finish that we've seen at Daytona on the high banks, on the bumps of Sebring International Raceway. You could have thrown a picnic blanket over the top 3 in that Lightning McQueen through the middle finish. And at America's National Park of Speed, they've done it again. All action, all entertainment, and the race to the checkered flag will go the way of Celine Roland. Hickson Motorsports, he wins it, the arms out. Who's second? Is it Wagner? It is Wagner, but barely, 0.079 of a second. Wagner in second place and takes the 10 extra bonus points for fastest lap. Sam Pearley is the best of the rookies, and he's on the overall podium from Michael Carter, who came in as championship leader in fourth. Chris Nunes in fifth, who was the rookie championship leader coming in here. Then Carbonell back to racing, but did his job in the wheel tracks of Celine Roland, his Hickson Motorsports teammate. Piscatel will come through in seventh for Macumbi McAleer Racing, giving them another car in the top 10. Provision Motorsports, Aaron Jonson, is in eighth. And the 10 made up by Helen Palermo, who will be gutted. Started on the front row, got mugged at the start, dropped down to fifth, fought his way back to the lead, but a couple of mistakes and some underbody flapping around has seen his pace slip away towards the end of the race. He'll finish up in ninth. Back up to 10th, Jensen Altsman is the fourth of the rookies for Macumbi McAleer Racing. Then it's Star Mars, Woody Heinemann, Lonnie Unser, Moiti Uretsky, Hickson, Little, and I think Mike Globe will actually finish, although he has dropped a lap down. Shea Adam, brilliant win from Celine Roland. He's proved he can do it from the front and drive away. He can fight his way through, but that was all about pacing himself and working with his teammates. Marvellous stuff from the Hickson duo.
There has been a lot of focus lately in motorsport on how important a teammate can be, and a tail gunner, that's exactly what we saw today from Andrew Carbonell, with Celine Roland getting the win. Very Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon-esque, and if you're a Formula One fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. But teammates can make all the difference in the world, and for Celine Roland, trying to win this championship, that was his goal at the beginning of the year. This is win number 4 out of 9 races. That's an impressive run at winning the overall championship. Can he make it 5 in 10? Tomorrow we'll find out.
Well, we'll do a bit of arithmetic as well and try and work the points out and see what that has done. But Michael Carter, who at one stage was not even in the top 10, I mean, that was a very, very good run for him. Stayed out of trouble.
It was, and it...
Sorry, Shay, go ahead.
It actually earned him the Hard Charger Award, John.
Yeah, not surprised. Not surprised at all about that. Michael starting down in 8th position and then getting caught up in the shenanigans early on. And then fighting his way through to what was then a 4th place finish, given what was going on around him. People throwing oil up into the air, a bit of rain early on as well. Well, that's it then. It's another win for Hickson and another win for Celine Roland. The MX-5 Cup, the Idemitsu MX-5 Cup, presented by BF Goodrich Sport Tyres, will be back tomorrow, and Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh, will be back to talk about it. And I suspect we'll be getting quite excited again. It's just what Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup is. Back to the National Park of Speed tomorrow for the second race of the weekend. Bye-bye.